Okay, here we go. We are back at it for another wonderful trip through the world of math. And we're going to talk about absolute value. And the absolute value here is the distance that a number or quantity, it can be more than one number inside the absolute value, but it's the distance that a number is from zero. So we're going to use the number lines here because we're talking about distances from zero. And we're going to talk about how far away is negative 15 from 0. That's the absolute value of negative 15. The absolute value of negative 15. And it's talking about how far away is negative 15 from 0. Well, what's this distance here? That is 15. So this simplifies to 15 is the distance that negative 15 is from 0. Plus, and then negative, oh, I should have made this line a little bit bigger. And here's negative 26. Here's negative 26 right here. And we're talking about how far away is negative 26 from 0. Is that distance there? This distance here is 26. So we're talking about 16. We're at 15 plus 26 is 41. So the absolute value of 15 plus the absolute value of negative 26 is 41. All right, students are saying that the absolute value of a number can't be negative. You are correct that the absolute value, the distance that something is from 0 cannot be negative, right? The distance that negative 15 is away from 0 is positive. The distance that negative 26 is from 0 is positive 26. It's 26 units away. What about this one, though? This one's a little bit weird. Here we have something. We've got what? Negative absolute value of negative 40? I wouldn't think of that as the negative. I would think of that as opposite of. Another way to think of a negative. The negative is the opposite of something, right? Negative 4 is the opposite of 4, right? Negative 4, right? The opposite of 4 is negative 4. Okay, so you've got the opposite of the absolute value of negative 40. So here's 0, here's negative 40. So the absolute value, how far away is negative 40? So the absolute value of negative 40 is 40. All right, it's 40 units away. But we don't want the absolute value of negative 40. We want the opposite of it. So the absolute value of negative 40 is 40, but we want the opposite of it. So it ends up being negative 40 here. We want the opposite of this. We want the opposite of this answer, which would be negative 40. Okay, sorry if you were looking at that. All right, here we go. Let's do some decimals. So I'm looking for the absolute value of 1/2. So here is 0. So if this is 1, we'll call that 1. Here is 1/2, or 5/10. So I'm looking for the distance away from 0. I'm looking for the absolute value. So the absolute value of 1/2 is, well, this is 1/2 of a unit away. So this is 1/2, and then I'm looking for the absolute value of 1.5. So here's 1, here's 2. Here's negative 1, I'm sorry. Here's negative 2. So here is negative 1.5. And how far away is this from 0? The absolute value of negative 1.5 is 1.5. So if I add those together, here's 1.5. Here is another 1/2. So my answer is 2.